Welcome back. It's Friday Coffee Talks number 51. It's another Friday. We have made it. We're most of the way through January. If you're here in Georgia, you're preparing for the snow this weekend. I can't wait. Bread and milk are gone from the stores. Everybody's making French toast this weekend. The eggs, the bread, the milk gets taken out first. That's the only thing to do in the snow is to make French toast. I don't know if you saw it in last week's episode while we were on the road, but the Piggy Joe's merch is in. This is from our store. We got hoodies and t-shirts. We got hats coming. They just shipped. I'm very excited about that. So check out the website. We'll have the merch up there if you want to get one for yourself with PJ. Today we're going to talk about LinkedIn faux pas. Faux pas? What's the multiple of faux pas? Whatever. LinkedIn do's and don'ts. Let me put out the disclaimer. These are my do's and don'ts. These are my things I've kind of picked up along the way. Maybe some of them are for you, maybe some are not. So, take that as it will. This comes from me and my brain and maybe a little consultation with some of my friends. But for the most part, this is my opinion. So if you're doing any of these things, don't feel judged. Maybe just try to do a little better. We'll see. We are drinking some lovely coffee today from my cousin Sarah. Shout out to her. What is it when, I guess Sarah's technically my cousin-in-law? When your cousin gets married, what's their spouse's relation to you? Whatever. She's my cousin. So thanks, Sarah, for this coffee. It's delicious and very hot. So anyways, back to LinkedIn. Let's talk about LinkedIn today. So we're going to start with some of the things on your profile, starting with the profile picture. Our world has become less professional. I think that's pretty fair to say over the last couple of years. That's one of the lasting impacts of COVID that may not ever go away. The debate of return to office, work from home, blah, blah, blah. We won't get into that here, but for the most part, a lot of people are working from home, a lot more than before COVID. Some of them are never going back to the office. And so the days of having to have a pristine headshot are gone, I think. And that's fine. If you want to change your profile picture to you in sweatpants with messy hair on your couch, great, go for it. I post a weekly video of myself in a hoodie with a backwards hat on every week. I take most of my meetings like this too. So change your profile picture if you want to. The big thing for me is we don't need a whole post about how you're becoming less professional and I'm transitioning from the headshot to the real picture. That's great. I applaud you for that. That's awesome. Do your thing. But at this point, you don't need a whole post about it. It's irrelevant. It's unnecessary at this point. Just change the profile picture. Move on. The next thing is taglines. So taglines used to be almost exclusively just job title, like what you do. That's what mine is. And that's fine. That's, like I said, that's what I'd use. The ones that get under my skin are the ones that are just a series of nouns that don't really tell anything about you. It's like innovator, entrepreneur, evangelist. Like, okay, those are cool sounding words and you may be all those things and that's awesome. But I feel like LinkedIn is a social network and people are trying to find out about you. A lot of times they're trying to sell to you. And if you just put these fancy terms in your tagline, like that doesn't really mean anything. The influencer way to do it is to have, a statement about, I impact these people and I've created these amount of businesses and all that kind of stuff. That's not for me either. If you want to do that, there's no problem with it. But for me, this is what I do. This is my job. This is who I am. Kind of get away from the innovator. Alongside that comes with about me. And I feel like this is the one I see more often than not, where people start to inflate their image a bit. Their ego kind of gets the best of them when they're writing those about me's. If your paragraph goes on and on about how you regularly chat with Fortune 500 CEOs and influence them by blah, 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 blah. No, you don't. No, you don't. The best cold callers in the world post on LinkedIn. I follow many of them, and they post their weekly stats, and all of them are 5% 5% connections. Like nobody is connecting with Fortune 500 CEOs that much. So don't pretend like you are. I mean, it's okay if you talk about the industry that you serve or the customers that you are focused on. You don't have to inflate your ego and make yourself feel better by talking about how often you're talking to Fortune 500 CEOs. And to that point, if you're cold calling Fortune 500 CEOs, you're probably not using your time very wisely anyways. There's no point in that. Like, they're not going to pick up the phone for you, and they're definitely not going to buy anything from you. So that seems to be somewhat unnecessary. Some of the other things I feel like are pretty obvious. I don't even need to cover them. Like, don't be a creepy guy on LinkedIn. If a female posts a picture of her face in a business setting, you don't need to comment and tell her how beautiful she is. She may be very beautiful, and that's great, but LinkedIn is not the place for it. I mean, that's pretty simple, guys. It's not a dating profile. Nobody needs to know about how you feel about her picture. Like, come on, that's silly. The other one are polls, and this may be something that's a little touchy. I know the algorithm rewards polls, which is why we're seeing so many of them. The influencers are really leaning into the polls, but they've gotten pretty out of hand. I mean, saw one the other day about what age was appropriate for a girl to get married. Nobody's voting on that poll. Come on. A poll about what beverage do you drink in the morning? Like, really? Did you need to post a poll for that? Like, are the views that important that you need to just post a poll to take up space? I don't know. I guess the broader point there is anything that you're doing for the algorithm is pretty transparent. If you're working on becoming an influencer, like, more power to you. Build that base, get the follower count up. That's awesome. Go for it. But the things that you're doing just for the sake of the algorithm, they're very obvious. Adding a bunch of extra lines so people have to click on your post to expand it. Spreading a message out over 50 lines rather than just typing what you want to say. I don't know. That's frustrating to me. It's one of those things of like, I get it. Maybe that's just part of it now and you kind of have to roll with it, but it just feels kind of icky. So take my advice. Don't. You can see my LinkedIn profile. It's not perfect. But I think the important thing is that I wrote it. It's about me. It's about the way I conduct business. It's about the way that I interact with people. And am I probably selling myself short as far as my reach? Probably. I don't really care. I'm not out here trying to be an influencer. I'm just trying to do my job on a daily basis. I'm trying to connect with some folks, maybe build my network, maybe sell some stuff to some people. And that's it. So I think that's probably the broad point here. If you're doing something on LinkedIn because it's your style, because it's something you like, because it's something you want to share with people that you found interesting, go for it. If you're doing it in like a very self-promoty way that is disingenuine, and unauthentic, then maybe reconsider. So that's my tips. That's my coffee. You guys enjoy it. We'll catch you next week.